everyone, welcome back to Upwards with Pradyut and Tisha. I'm Tisha Relia Hande, and in today's episode I'm going to share with you some of my favorite CV making secrets. Now before we get started, I just want to put it out there that I am not an HR professional or an expert on making CVs by any stretch. These are just some hacks that have worked for me as I have switched jobs over the years or applied for internships, and I thought that I could share them with you. Now the very first thing when it comes to making a CV is the template. Honestly, my favorite thing to do is to go to Canva and check out the resume templates there. Of course, you can also Google and find some inspiration, but I think Canva has done a fantastic job in finding these really beautiful templates which visually help you showcase different aspects, right? So whether it's the About You section, the Education section, there are lots and lots of references available there. Now what I personally like to do is find 2 or 3 templates on Canva which I really like and then literally replicate them on a Word document. So I'll open a Word document and build those sections from scratch. The reason that I do this is because I think it's much easier to edit content on Word than on Canva. Secondly, when I want to remake my resume, say 2 or 3 years later, there are literally blocks, text blocks which I can move up and down, and I don't need to start from scratch. So that is why I recommend find those templates and really put them on a Word document and then edit your CV there. Now one common question that I am asked is, should I use the CV template that was made for me in college, right? So in typical B schools, at the end of the year, there is a very standard template and everyone fills up that exact template. Now I think that this makes sense because when you're in B school, when everyone is at different levels, some people might be freshers like I was and they have no idea how to make CV, so it makes sense. But I feel like once you enter the corporate world and you get an understanding of your personality, your interests, then using a very standard template may not do full justice to you, right? So for example, I remember when I was with the Mahindra group, I was a management trainee and we had these internal rotations. So the first time I applied for a rotation, I had to send my CV and I looked at my SIBM CV and I felt like this just did not reflect who I was as a person. I wanted people to get to know the creative side of me also. So for me, I personally feel like a CV should be a reflection of you, and I therefore don't advise you to use those extremely standard college templates. The next big question, how long should your CV be? Now typically the golden rule is that if you have about 3 to 4 years of experience or lesser, your CV should be a 1-pager, and then after that of course 2-pager, and then when you have more than 10-15 years you can also look at a more detailed 2 to 3-pager CV. The reason I sort of agree with, at least when you're getting started, to have a 1-page CV is because use that space really well, and 1 page is more than enough to highlight all your important achievements, all the important projects you worked on, a little bit of your education. I think 1 page designed well actually can do all of that justice. But if you feel like there's something more you want to showcase, then don't be afraid to make it a 2-pager CV if you feel like you need that space to really say something more. But otherwise, try and stick to the 1-pager, at least if you're just getting started. The next question, how creative or visual should your CV really be? Now, because of the fact that I'm a marketing professional, I work in digital, which is in general a creative field, my CV is a burst of colors, I have to say. Rather than writing just the company names, I'll always add logos. I'll add logos of awards I've won or maybe places that have been published, just because I feel like because I'm a creative person, I want my CV to be a reflection of that. And that's also something that Pradyut agrees with, and even his CV is actually quite creative. So yeah, what I would say over here is it really depends on the kind of job that you're applying for. But if you are applying for a creative field, then please go ahead and showcase a little bit of that side, and don't be afraid of color. The next thing is, how do you make your CV a little interesting and make it stand out, right? Because everyone of course puts their jobs, their education. One thing that I like to do is add links to some of my blog posts or some of the videos that I've created. This just gives me an opportunity to showcase a little bit of my thoughts, right? So for example, rather than just putting my skills as a digital marketer, I'll lead to certain video content that I might have created talking about what I think might be the trends in digital, what's working right now, some long form content that I've written on LinkedIn. This, like I said, just allows me an opportunity to showcase a little bit more about myself to a potential potential recruiter. Continuing from this, when it comes to writing about your job description, what I typically like to do is write, of course, what is the job that I'm doing, but more importantly, what are certain metrics that I've managed to move in that role, right? So if it is, launching a new site, did it mean more traffic? Did it mean an increase in conversion? I, of course, will never give away confidential information, but at least, say a 10%, 20%, numbers like this, which can showcase that, okay, I definitely did this project, but what exactly happened? What did this eventually help the company achieve? So I try and keep my CV very, very metric driven. The next thing is I always ensure my CV is mobile friendly. Now, what I've realized over the years is that actually recruiters very often end up looking at your CV on their phone because they have their outlooks, synced to their phone. And when your PDF opens up, there sometimes the formatting is all over the place. The font will be way too small. The links will not be clickable. So I just make sure that every time I send out a PDF, every link is clickable. If I put a link of LinkedIn, then when you click on that, you should be able to go to my LinkedIn profile. If I put blog, I'll always hyperlink to that blog or to that video. So I just make sure that my CV, just like every good website, is also mobile first. The next important thing when you're writing your CV is the grammar. Make sure you're not mixing up the way that you're writing it. Are you writing it in first person, in third person? Just keep it very, very consistent so that when someone is reading it, it's not jarring, right? So take some time on this. If your grammar is not great, please use a tool like Grammarly, etc. That's a free plugin. Just attach that so that any spelling mistakes can be checked, any grammatical sentence formation, all of that can be checked, so that when someone is reading your CV, it comes across as very well read and someone who's really thought through each and every line that they are writing. For aspiring digital marketers, another important thing is to really write some of the key skills and key courses that you might have done, what you have learned on those courses, right? Very often I'll see that, okay, you've done a program, say from Upgrad or from any one of these, renowned institutes where you've done an online course, but that's fine. But what did you learn in that course? If maybe you could highlight in 2 lines that these were some of the key things that you've learned, especially if it's the first digital marketing job that you're applying for, and so you may not have a lot of digital roles to showcase on your CV, but you've done a course. So please do highlight the projects that you did. What did you learn from them? What are some of the key metrics that you have learned over there? So it gives the recruiter an insight into the fact that while you may not have already done digital work, this is something that you love and it's something that you understand and enjoyed. The last tip that I would like to leave with you is when you're sending out your CV, please make sure that the email body copy is a summary of your CV. Very often when I get a CV, it will just say, please find attached my resume, and then of course you have to go into the PDF. But some people actually make the effort to highlight in 3 to 4 lines why they're suitable for their role, what aspects of their CV actually match the job description, and they write this in the body copy itself. So this is so useful for a recruiter because even before they look at their resume, they know that you've done your homework, that you've gone through the JD, you've synced how your CV and your experience matches the JD, and then you have applied for the job. So all of these small little things really add up. I really hope that you found these hacks useful. If there are any other hacks that you use while designing your CV, please leave them in the comments below so that people who are watching this video can can learn from your and my experience together. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and Pradyut and I will see you next time. Thank you.